Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a video of my recent 5-star historical romance reads. Now, 2 of these are from July, but the rest of them are all books that I've read within the past month or so, and I have just been loving historical romance again. I feel like in the summer I went through my dark mafia phase, and then now I'm right back to wanting to read all the historical romances. It doesn't help that the Bridgerton trailer dropped. Well, not the trailer, but the sneak peek, and then I was watching some interviews and I was just I need more historical romances again. I am wearing my Historical Hellions book club shirt. It says Falling for Dukes since 2021 because that is when Samantha and I from Books with Samantha started our book club, and so this is one of the merch pieces that I made. So it's my favorite. I love it. I got the long sleeve t-shirt and I'm obsessed with this and I've been wearing it all day, and I just really wanted to come on here and talk to you about some of the historicals that I've absolutely loved lately because some of them have blown me away, and I've talked about them sporadically in different videos but not all together. So if you're here for the historical romance content, which I know is the least popular content on my channel, but it's my most favorite, I have a video for you, and that's this video. So I'm gonna get started. The first one I literally will not stop raving about, and it's going to be in my favorite historical romances of the year. That is The Duke and the Lady in Red by Lorraine Heath. If they have a step back, I will show you what the step backs are in these books. But Lorraine Heath is magic. She writes such angsty and more serious historicals, I feel like. They aren't the light fluffy ones like Sophie Jordan, Tessa Dare. These are much more angsty and I'm obsessed. And so this one is book 3 in the series. It can be read as a standalone, though I love books 1 and 2, so you should still read them anyways. But this one, the Duke meets the heroine. I believe they were at a casino. I don't remember exactly where they were, but they meet. He's instantly excuse me, I want you. And she is really into him too, but she needs money. And she's he's the perfect man to swindle money out of. So she decides to lie and get 5,000 pounds out of him, and she is going to try to go to Scotland with her family. And so they're on their way to getting to the carriage to go to Scotland, and the Duke shows up and he's like, what's going on? And he figures it out, and then he offers her a week with him and he'll give her the money, no problem. And so she accepts. Things happen. I cried though. I talked about this in Books That Broke Me, my video that I recently did. I cried in this because there is a side character that is just absolutely heart-wrenching what they have to go through, and they're super close to our heroine. And I don't want to spoil any of that because I didn't know about it going in, so that's all I'll say about that. But I just grew so attached to these characters and the Duke, what he does for our heroine. And the fact that they're just madly into each other, I don't want to say they're madly in love at the beginning, but they're so into each other. They're we really, really like each other, but she's poor and he's a duke and she's the lady in red that he sees, and it's just so good. So pick this up if you haven't yet. Pick up Lorraine Heath. She's amazing. I need to read more from her. There's another one that people have been telling me to read that I guess is super angsty, and I have to read it, so it's going to be on my TBR soon. Another super angsty one that I read and loved is My American Dutchess by Eloisa James. This one has this step back on the inside. I love Eloisa James. This one is another angsty one because our hero meets our heroine, is super into her when they first meet, and then he's I'm gonna propose to her. He's I'm a duke, I need to get married. He sees her, she's an American Dutchess. She's so down to earth and not into society's rules. She doesn't know them, and she just says what she wants to say, but she's been engaged twice already, and he's she's the one, I'm gonna propose to her, and he's super excited, and then figures out his brother had proposed that night already to her, and since she's been engaged twice, she's I need to see this third engagement through. She doesn't want to be seen as this flighty woman, an American, and she knows though that he obviously needs her money, and the hero knows his brother needs the money. His brother is the second son, so he doesn't have money. The Duke has the money, his brother doesn't, and so his brother needs to get married because he's in debt. He's a drunk like their father, and the brother though is really into being proper, and our heroine's not into that, and she's just finding it really hard to be around him. And then that when she spends time with him though, she spends time with the brother, who's the Duke, who she really likes, and there's a dog in here that's adorable, and I just love our heroine. I love An American Heiress. It's so fun how she doesn't know society's rules going into their balls and social situations. It's really funny, but there's just angst and tension between her and the other brother. I love it. It was just so good. Definitely read this if you haven't. The next one is Another Woman Off Limits. I feel like I should do like an off limits love interest video where the other one is like engaged or in a relationship and is off limits to the love interest. It's Third Sense of Charm by Shanna Galen. Shanna Galen's another author that I'm really excited to read more from because I also read No Earls Allowed, which I think is book 2 in the series, and I gave that 4 stars. So it's not in this video, but I really like that as well. This one's a bodyguard romance. Our heroine's the daughter of a duke. He is hired to be the bodyguard because he was part of this band of soldiers in this group who were known for going on the most dangerous missions. So he's back. He's still friends with like all of his soldier buddies, and he's hired to be the bodyguard by the duke because his daughter, the duke's daughter, is in love with this man, and everybody's like, he wants you for your money, and she's like, no, he loves me for me. And she's trying to run away with him, tries to run away and see him, and the guy is like, no, we can't run away because then you won't get your money. And she thinks it as, oh, you want to take care of me, make sure I'm taken care of and have money. And everybody else is like, no, he just wants to run away with your money. So the bodyguard hero ends up having to go to all of her events with her and keep her from sneaking out. And it's funny because she tries to sneak out her window and he's there and catches her, and she gets super frustrated, but they fall for each other. He also has undiagnosed dyslexia, and that's a big part of this book as well because that affects how he feels about himself, how he's treated by other people, and how the heroine treats him and helps him, and that was amazing. So I love this so much. If you love a good bodyguard romance, you should pick this up. Then we have my favorite historical trope, and that is an amnesia romance, and that is How to Forget a Duke by Vivian Lorette. This one, our heroine's actually a matchmaker, so it's another social class difference, which is another favorite trope of mine, and our hero's a duke, and he needs a bride, and so he asks the heroine's company, which I believe she works with her sisters, to find him a bride, and she ends up going to his estate, and she gets into this boat wreck and has amnesia, and our hero finds her, but they don't tell her who she is right away, just so she can recover and like she can gain her memory back, and they end up spending time together and falling for each other, and it's so good because he needs to marry someone who would make a good duchess and not her. I love how we had the amnesia trope and she stayed at his estate to recover, and so it's kind of forced proximity because he's like has to take care of her, and it's really good, and she ends up, I believe, staying in the Duchess's chambers too, which is really funny, and it was just really great. I really enjoyed this. They're trying to help her get her memory back, and I just couldn't recommend this enough. Another new all-time favorite and an author I'm so excited to explore more from is Ravished by Amanda Quick. This was last month, not October, but it was August historical Hellions pick, and this one was just adorable. So this one came out I think in '93, and oh, I'll show you the setback. This one I think is the most popular Amanda Quick book that I've heard of, and it's so good. Our heroine loves fossils, so she's a paleontologist, and so she always goes to these caves and she finds hidden treasure there, as in like stolen goods from people. She goes to our Viscount, who like is in charge of the area, I guess, and she's like, you need to do something, like there's people in here who are hiding stolen goods and they're stealing from people, like we need to do something. And she's more worried about people like coming and ruining her fossils, and so he says fine, just stay out of it, but she won't stay out of it, and at some point they figure out the people are there, and she decides to intervene to try to make sure everything goes well, and her and the Viscount end up stuck in the caves because the water comes in, and they spend the night in the caves together. So she's ruined, and he knows they're gonna have to have a marriage of convenience to save her reputation, and he does not have a good reputation in town though. Like people say really awful things about him. He's known as the Beast of Blackthorn Hall. People think he was responsible for killing another woman, and they are terrified of him, and she will not put up with a single negative thing said about him. She like hits someone in the middle of a ball for saying rude things about him. I love how fiercely protective she is of him, and it could have easily been miscommunication where she believed all the rumors people were saying, but she 100% believes him, and everything he says is so behind him and just loyal to him, and it was adorable. I loved it. I love the marriage of convenience. This was everything, and I need to read more by Amanda Quick, like right now. Then the two that I read in August that I just wanted to throw in here because they're really, really good is Always and Forever by Beverly Jenkins. This one I don't see a lot of people talking about. I'm trying to get through her lesser known historicals, and this one our heroine is taking a group of women to be mail order brides. I think her cousin had written to her and asked, and so they need a wagon master because segregation and racism, they're not allowed to take the train, and they know something bad will happen if they take the train, so they don't even want to try it. They need someone to take them by wagon, and so her original wagon master like randomly dies overnight. So she finds someone and ends up tracking him down. I believe she goes to a brothel to find him, and their meet cute is absolutely hilarious. And then he ends up, like, they butt heads a lot, and he's like, you need to listen to me if I'm gonna do this. Like, I know you're stubborn and you think you know everything, but if I do this, listen to me. And they end up falling for each other, but they have completely different paths lined up for him. Like, he's gonna go somewhere, and I think she's gonna return back to Chicago, and they spend the whole time though going to this place with all the mail order brides, and it's so much fun. I really like this, and there's a little bit of romantic suspense going on at the end, like a lot of Beverly Jenkins books have, but I really enjoy this. If you like the whole mail order bride, traveling kind of romance, pick this up. And the last one is The Duke in My Bed by Amelia Gray. This was a recommendation from Lisa. Quite a few of these actually were recommendations from Lisa, from Remarkably Lisa. This one, our heroine's brother dies, and he dies in this like drunken race, and they like end up crashing, and so the Duke that was in the race with him promised him he'd take care of his sisters, and then he disappears. So he never comes back to fulfill his promise, but now he's back, and he promises to help the sisters. He like shows up, and our heroine is, I believe, is the oldest sister, and she's been taking care of them all, and it's their romance, and it's really, really sweet. He is first initially like, oh my gosh, these sisters are nuts, I want nothing to do with them, but they slowly grow on him. So if you like the family aspect and how we have this really brooding and stoic Duke who ends up becoming really close with the sisters, and there's a dog in here as well. I love historical romances with dogs. This was a lot of fun. A lot of people are pressuring the Duke to help the sisters because they knew about that deal that he made, and he hasn't been back in years, and now he's back, and they're like, oh, you're gonna help them now, right? And so it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one, and I would recommend it as well. Those are 7 5-star historical romance reads I read lately. I have read more, and a lot of them were 4-star. Some of them were some misses, which is sad, but those are the ones that I would 100% recommend and I think you need to read. Let me know down below if you have any recent 5-star historical romance reads. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.